Hello, welcome back to another exciting video where I'm going to talk about Indian literature. As I have previously promised you that I will come up with another important videos where I will discuss the evergreen important Indian writers, be it novelist, poet and dramatist. So let's begin. But before starting, yes, you rightly guessed, I will request you to subscribe to my channel and also like my videos if you like. As you know that always I teach students from the very background of any kind of age or literature. So this is not an exception in Indian literature as well. I will teach you the background first, then I will discuss all the important writers. So number one is the background. As you know that all ages or particular era has their particular like history, right? So Indian literature has also its own history, though it's not as old as the British history, but it is all about 100 years of the background. As you know that the Mughals were ruling during 17th century, okay, in India, and at that time the Britishers came in the name of trade and they established East India Company in 17th century in India, and then they started getting rich quickly. Now the second thing happened, that Bengal Renaissance that took place with the hand of Raja Ram Mohan Rai, who was the first modern writer who was writing in English in India. Now, as you know that the Renaissance means rebirth. So what was the rebirth in India? The rebirth of new ideology, new idea and the new thought. Now, while this was happening, the great writers like Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay, who was writing in English, and also the English writers started writing in English like Lord William Bentinck. Now, after that period came the Indian independent movement. As you know that Indian English literature and the Indian independent movement are somehow interconnected, and Mahatma Gandhi, who came up with his own movement for the Indian freedom from the British, right? And that started all over the India, and the great writers like Mulk Raj Anand, Raja Rao, R.K. Narayan, those who were started promoting Gandhian ideology through their writings. Now, in the mid of the 20th century and the first 21st century, many Indian writers started writing in English for the Indian culture and the Indian roots. Now, in this context, let's understand who are called as Indo-English writer and as Anglo-English writer. Now, Indo-English writers were those writers who were writing in Indian, Indian culture and its root in English, but they were basically Indians. And the Anglo-English writers were those writers who were the Britishers and those who started writing in English about the Indian culture and Indian roots. Okay. Now let's divide all the genres into three sections. One is the Indian novels, then poems, and then the dramas, right? And if you divide them with the poets and dramatists and novelists, I think that will be more easy to understand it and to remember them well. Now the first, that is the important poets or the evergreen poets that I am going to reveal here. There are many poets, okay, but from the net point of view, these are all evergreen poets. Number one is Taru Dutt, then Sarojini Naidu, Sri Aurobindo, Rabindranath Tagore, Meena Alexander, Nissim Ezekiel, Jayant Mahapatra, then we have Kamala Das, and lastly Mahaseta Devi. I am again telling that there are many other poets, but these are all evergreen poets. Now let's a bit discuss, okay, about all these poets. Number one is Taru Dutt. Now, who was Taru Dutt? Taru Dutt was a French Indian poet who started writing in English about the Indian mythology and the holy scripture of Hindu. Now, she started writing on great themes like the lotus and the casuarina tree and the Legend of Hindustan. These are all her great poems. Now the second poet is Sarojini Naidu. Sarojini Naidu is considered the nightingale of India and also the bulbul in India. She was greatly inspired by Arthur Symonds, and her works are about the Indianness, the love, hate, death, life, and she wrote some famous poems like The Golden Threshold and also The Palanquin Bearer. Now another poet whom we do not forget ever is Rabindranath Tagore. Rabindranath Tagore, who does not know about him? He was the great Nobel, laureate who got his Nobel Prize in 1913 for his great work Gitanjali. That is also the songs of offerings, right? Now he is greatly famous for his versatile characteristics in Indian literature. For example, he is a great playwright, he is a great novelist, he is a great poet. His famous novels are Ghore Baire, Chokher Bali, and Gora. His famous plays are Chandalika, then Rakto Karabi, Mukto Dhara, Achalayana. These are all his great plays. He has also written an essay, and I want you to remember that essay and write in comment section. If you don't know the essay, then please go to Google and search it out, because many times NTA can ask questions from that essay too. Now, the another poet whom we cannot just skip is Kamala Das. Now, Kamala Das is regarded as one of the most famous confessional poets, and we get confessional poets like Sylvia Plath and also Robert Lovell in American literature, and in Indian literature we have poets like Kamala Das. Now, Kamala Das is famous for the only theme, unsatisfied love or unfulfilled love, that she shown again and again. She has shown again and again in her works. Her famous works are like Relationship, Invitation, The Introduction, and also The Grandmother's House. Now another poet whom NTA is focusing much more nowadays is Nisi Musical. Nisi Musical is a Jewish Indian poet who wrote about very Indian themes, and his great titles of poems and also the chronological publication of his poems that are very common question in UGC NET English Literature exam. And his famous works are like The Discovery of India, Unfinished Man, Exact Name. And I used to make some stories to remember all these tricky titles of these poems. So I used to make stories like I discovered an unfinished man who was exactly looking like me. So this was kind of stories that I used to make to remember this. Now another important thing that we need to remember is the important dramatist or the evergreen dramatist. And these four dramatists are very important. Please do make note. If you have not completed, then complete. If you have completed, then it's good. Number one is Mahesh Dattani, then Girish Karnad, then we have Badal Sarkar and Vijay Tendulkar. Now it's not possible to cover all these things, but I will cover two major dramatists. Number one is Mahesh Dattani. Now you must have heard this name in graduation and post graduation. Mahesh Dattani is mostly famous for his themes like gender trouble and also the religious discrimination. His famous novels are Tara, then The Dance Like Man. Sorry, Dance Like Man is a play where there is a character named Amit Lal who has his daughter-in-law and his son Ratna and Jairaj respectively. They both are very good dancer, but Amit Lal does not want his son to be a good dancer. So he wanted to destroy his career by giving the bribe to his daughter-in-law Ratna. And his famous play Tara is also very interesting play. Now the second playwright who is very famous in Indian literature as well as Kannada literature is Girish Karnad. Now Girish Karnad's famous works are like Hayavadana, Yayati, Tughlaq, Nagamandala. His themes are mostly connected with the contemporary issues with the characters of these great mythologies like Yayati, Hayavadana, okay, and he has also won the Jananpath like award, and yeah, that's all about Girish Karnad. You can again search and make your note a bit big, okay, with another information from Google. Now the another thing that you need to remember is the important novelist. Now novels are always is such a genre that I enjoy with all of the vibes, okay, when I start reading novels. And Indian novels are actually one of my favorites. So let's start all the evergreen novelists. Number one is Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay, then Mulk Raj Anand, Raja Rao, R.K. Narayan. We have Kamala Markandaya. We have Manohar Malgonakar, Bharati Mukherjee. Then Neeraj Chaudhary, Kuzwan Singh, Raskin Bond, Sasi Deshpande. Then we have you are Anantamurthy, and we have Anita Desai, Kiran Desai, Arundhati Roy, Nayantara Sehgal, and Amitabh Ghosh. We have Jhumpa Lahiri. So these are all the famous great novelists. But among them, some are evergreen novelists, and that I'm going to discuss here. Number one is Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay. Definitely one or two you will see questions from this figure. He is famous for his epoch making newspaper like Bongo Darshan and Sangbad Potrika, and his novels are Rajmohan's Wife and also the Anandamat or the Abbey of Bliss. Now Rajmohan's Wife is itself very significant novel because its character is also very significant. How the Indian women are not allowed to use their own identity during that period is very much shown in this novel. Rajmohan's wife is Matangini, who is very brave, strong, and intelligent. Character is portrayed by the hand of Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay, and his another novel Anandamot, from which we get the great song like Bonde Mataram. Now, another novelist who is also very famous is Mulk Raj Anand. Mulk Raj Anand is considered as the Charles Dickens of East. So these are all the important facts that you need to remember. And he wrote very famous novels like Untouchable, Coolie, and his themes were centered around the realistic and sympathetic situations of the poor Indians during that time. And his Untouchable was published in 1935, his Coolie was published in 1936, and you should remember both the publication dates of this particular novelist and also his title of all the works. Now another novelist is R.K. Narayan. I know that you must have heard about this novelist, right? R.K. Narayan. He is a great story writer, also a great novelist. He has written many novels like Swami and Friend, The English Teacher, The Guide, The Man Eater of Malguri. These are all famous novels of this great writer. And his particular themes are generally the Indianness and its culture, its belief, its religion, okay, and Gandhian ideology are all is also very much specific in his novels. Now another novelist like Anita Desai. I don't think that NTA can set any kind of paper before thinking about this writer. Anita Desai is famous for very much for her women-centered themes, and she has won 3 times Booker Prize. This is an important fact that you need to remember. And her works are like Cry the Peacock, then Journey to Ithaca, Feasting, Fasting. These are all important works, and if you want to know other works, you can directly join my Telegram channel. I will share all the works of her. Now, there are other novelists, and I should not forget one novelist, that is Amitabh Ghosh. Okay, nowadays NTA is much more focusing on this writer, and Amitabh Ghosh, has mixed up the contemporary issues with his brilliant way of writing a novel, and his famous novels are like the Calcutta Chromosome, then Shadow Line, The Glass Palace. These are all famous novels. And please do remember all the titles of his novels, all the main characters of his novels, and also the main themes. Okay, because these three are the most important area from which NTA can ask you the questions, and you will get the full marks if you have already studied them. Now, so these are all the important things that I have covered in my video. And one more thing that I want to express here is that if you are a serious student, then I think you are supposed to only hear me out and to see me out properly, right? The video quality or the quality of my dress will not affect that much of your learning, I guess. Yeah, that is all my video. If you do like, then please do like, and bye bye. Thanks for watching.